Bojíte se? Výborně. Já jsem Hejkal a vítám vás v temnotách.
Ahoj, jmenuji Hejkal, vítám vás tady celou hry Kozel, The Shadow, The Templars. Pokračujeme tam, kde jsme měli skončili, což znamená tady vlastně v hospodě Patrika.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello there. What now?
Why is Peagram's departure upset the landlord?
He's lost a paying guest, that's why. More than that, there's the question of an unsettled bill. Poor Michael's seen red over the business, and I don't blame him.
Já bych se mu taky nedivil, ale co mi můžeš ještě říct jako o tom o hostinském teda ještě no.
Can you tell me more about the landlord?
Mick Leary? He's what you call a would-be sophisticate. The trouble is, his idea of sophistication extends as far as putting paper in the lavatory.
I never worked out why he did that. It's much too dark in there to read.
That's true. Have you ever run your hand over the back of the door? The graffiti is written in braille.
To samé pochytil, já jsem spokojený, protože mám pak Ferita stříleckým.
Do you know where Peagram is gone?
I'm sorry, but I don't. He upped anchor in the dark and shipped out before the dawn.
Why did he do that?
Who knows? Guilty conscience or a secret assignation. Whatever the reason, he'll not be missed in Lochmar. Maybe now the fuss about the gem has died down, we can get back to normal.
Tak, co mi tady můžete říct o tom trochu komu?
What can you tell me about the gem which Peagram found?
Now there's a gem which should never have been taken. A man would have to be full of greed to covet that stone. What's your interest in the jewel? You're not a reporter, are you?
Reporter?
Oh no, thank the Lord for that.
Goodbye for now.
A teď ještě tady to se tam dojila.
Hi, my name's Stobart, George Stobart.
Hello there, mister. What can I do for you?
Can you tell me anything about the castle on the hill?
Oh, I don't know much about anything. You should ask Mr. O'Brien here. He does joined up writing. Would you be one of them history
Nejsem dějepisář, ale můžeme to dát. Máme to.
That's right, Professor
Lovecraft
Stobart,
plný.
Miskatonic University.
You're an archaeologist, and you're asking us about the castle.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien. The gentleman was talking to me. How come you didn't leave with the others?
I didn't know they'd gone until the landlord told me.
A co mi řekl teda o Peagramovi?
Do you know Professor Peagram?
Do I know him? Do I know the good professor himself? No, I don't. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know
Můžete
him.
mi se toho vykopavka?
Do you know anything about Peagram's excavation?
Only that he didn't have the right tools for the job. What he needed was shovels and a JCB.
Peagram was digging for historical remains, not coal.
Is that a fact? What the hell for?
It's the science of archaeology, Pat. Understanding how people used to live by what they've left behind. One day archaeologists might be digging up our remains.
Imagine that, Mr. O'Brien. I wonder what they'll find.
Well, it won't be arrowheads and beakers. Fast food cartons and flavored condoms, more likely.
Co tam jsou ještě ty vykopavky?
Did anyone from the village work at Peagram's dig?
I tried it myself, but that high and mighty history man called me incontinent. What a nerve. Hadn't I dug more holes than the rest of them put together?
Co mi řekl o Seanu Fitzgeraldovi?
Do you remember seeing Sean Fitzgerald at the dig?
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of
Když se teda
lubrication.
ještě na ten holkam.
Is it true that Peagram found a valuable gem?
What? First I heard of it.
Where have you been, Pat? For that gem is the talk of every town from Lochmar to Ballydoon.
Nobody told me. A lucky sod. So that's why he scampered.
Koupíme to pivo. Koupíme to pivo. Dělej čorči.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who? Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick. Same again?
Just a point this time, Michael.
1 point of brown coming up.
Tak jo, a co teď? Dokážeš si nějak vzpomenout toho Šína?
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only
Cena.
last Come to
Shona.
think of it, it was only last week.
Jedno.
Fitzgerald was
Fitzgerald.
there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
To byl s předákem a teď se teda proklepem. Co proklepem hocha.
Hello.
Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig.
You don't believe him, do you? Patrick Doyle is a moron and a scoundrel.
Even so, he saw you talking to Pegram.
You can't prove that, mister.
To by se zdivil, že ti to
See you later.
nemůžu dokázat, jak nemůžu dokázat jednoduše. Poptám se u dalších zdrojů. Je starý hled třeba náš Maguire.
Hey, McGuire.
Potřebuji vědět něco o tom Ketrhelkamu.
I heard that Pegram had found a legendary gem.
That's right. It's been the talk of Lochman all week.
You haven't seen the gem, have you?
Hell no. I reckon Pegram made off with it. If I was him, I'd go to Amsterdam, chop it up and sell it. He could be living the life of Riley instead of digging holes.
Co bys mi řekl o těch vykopávkách celkově?
Are you sure Fitzgerald worked at the dig?
Oh yes, it was him all right. Would I tell a lie?
Well, he denies it.
I saw them together only last night.
I wish you'd told me that sooner. What were they doing?
Pegram gave Fitzy a box. He didn't look too happy about it.
I knew it. But how am I going to persuade him to part with it?
Break his fingers.
Nah, I couldn't do that.
I could.
Thanks for the offer, kid, but I'll try a more subtle approach.
Chinese
Co mi
birds?
ještě řekne na toho Fitzgeralda teda?
Do you know where I could find Fitzgerald?
He's inside, but you won't get no sense out of him.
How come? Is he drunk?
He's like a frightened rabbit. A real bag of nerves. Why, the fella's scared of his own shadow.
To mě zajímavé.
What's Fitzgerald scared of?
Everything and everyone.
So I shouldn't have any trouble getting him to talk.
He's a pushover, but don't scare him too much. Try the soft touch. Butter
Trošku
it
mu
up.
polychotíme, dobře.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
Tak, a jdeme vnitř. Už máme na něj všechno, co potřebujeme, snad. Tak.
Hello.
McGuire says he saw you working at the dig. What's more, he saw you talking with Pegram.
Tak už to vykop, pokud nemá dost toho času.
I knew this would happen. I knew I'd get caught. Just my luck. Grasped up by a delinquent and a dimwit.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah, you too, if I'm right.
You're not from the Social Security.
Hell no, what makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefits at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you and your conscience. All I want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here.
I know that, but he left that package with you, didn't he?
Tak to vykop, kde pak ten Pegram?
So where did Pegram go?
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving.
To je všechno?
He asked me to give this package to a guy called Markin.
Show me what's in the package, Sean.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pilgrim's package?
You don't know these people. I can't. I don't dare.
Tak pozlím to zkusíme.
This is your last chance to show me the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
I'll deal with Jacques Marquet. Give the package to me.
No. Why should I trust you? I don't know who to trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn gem.
Co tam bylo? Znělo jak auto.
Hey! I just seen a big red...
Get out of here, Maguire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy maker.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
Tak jo, já si tady hled se vám zajdu a musím tady hled ročníček.
The man's
Teď.
arm.
Jo. Šup.
As the man raised his arm to drink, I snatched the
Tak jo, jdeme
towel
ven.
away.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding my own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill.
Konaček.
Would you look at that, says I, and I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass, but the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up on top. Jesus, says I thought he was a goner. Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
Pixie? Skřípek? No.
Did this pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask. Are you a special agent?
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not.
Zvrhneš toho Fitzgeraldovi?
Did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
See you later, kid.
Jo, ty tady
Okay,
jednou
mister.
pojistky.
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand.
A půjdeme hezky dovnitř. No a tady to zatím ukončím, že se vám video líbilo. Tam budeme pokračovat samozřejmě, takže to neukončuji úplně. To zatím čus. Ahoj, jsem zpátky a pokračujeme tam, kde jsme teda skončili, což má tadyhlec, máme barman.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir?
Dal bych si pinku.
may I have another beer, please?
Certainly, sir. Same again?
Yeah, please. How is this stuff made?
That's the secret of the master brewer, sir. Each barrel is lovingly manhandled in time-honored fashion, suspended on skillfully tied ropes of the finest hemp, lowered into the cellar utilizing the forces of original gravity, like manna from heaven. I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I could fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my idea, is it?
To je super, já jsem
It
elektrikář.
just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, now, isn't that marvelous? Here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer.
Jo.
And when you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
Jasně, jdeme na to. To budu mrknout. Na to tady vlastně použijem ten drát, co máme, takže jenom tady omrknem.
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug. Seemed fine to me.
Jasně, a teď si teda ten drát prostě a šup tam s tím. Že mu to není divný, prostě dráta.
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions. Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
Well, I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
Tak, a zaměřme dolů.
What a dumb place to store a flashlight. A dark cellar. The only way I was gonna find anything down there was to feel around.
Tak, tady si otočíme západkou na dveře.
I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
Půjdeme zpátky nahoru. Teď vlastně můžu jít zvenčí, vlastně sám můžu otevřít to líko, abych vlastně napak měl světlo, takže takhle vlastně uděláme. Tady to budu točit vlastně na 3 části, tady první mám teď za sebou, už tady ta druhá. Teď budu pak točit pak ještě třetí a to bude za chvilku, třetí bude za chvilku. Nechci to radši nechci.
I lifted the trap door and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
Sakra.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Did you see what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
Super, no. Já se můžu konečně vrátit. Ten package. Super baterku tady najdem, že jo? Dobře uchovaná, musím říct, fakt.
Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door.
Aha, co pak to bude?
It was Peagram's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. As I held it aloft, I realized the fascination it could command. I guess I was already under its spell.
Yes.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire. I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way, you're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari.
Dobře. Můžu tadyhle s tím nějak ještě vodu pustit.
The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
Zajímavý obraty s tím zvracením vody.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Jo, se podívám ještě, co tady moc je.
I searched the trash, but there was nothing useful there.
Tak jdeme nahoru. Si zaměříme teda ke hradu, k tomu hradu, jak jsme tady měli vlastně zjišťovali se informace a zaměříme přímo nahoru. Vlastně k tomu hradu přímo nahoru, takže tady bych tam nemohl zavřít, dobře. Tady. Když se promluvíme s hlídačem sena. Nevím, jak bych to líp popsal, než hlídač sena.
Do you speak English? Well, no. What if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice.
No. Když se tam na to Peagrama.
Have you seen Professor Peagram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
Je tam ještě na to auto.
Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing here? The poor fella must have been lost.
No, já bych neřekl, že byl ztracený.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah. He knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car.
Běžel co
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
Taky bych se jel sprachy na
I
Ferrari
think
spíš.
you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle. his own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
No, já si myslím, že bych ji spíš pohlídal.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvelous. I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
Tak já myslím, že šplháme nahoru.
The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall. Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland.
Dobře, takže použijeme tadyhle tohle. A za chvilku to zase.
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the
Chvíličku
mortar's
přeruším.
crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall,
Utíká to strašně
jutting out
rychle,
to form a step.
Já tady přeruším, doufám, že se vám video líbilo. Budeme se za chvilku pokračovat. Tak jsme zpátky a konečně už tady můžeme pořádně nahoru, tak šup nahoru, Georgie. Využijeme každý chvíli, kterou můžeme využít pořádně. Kozlík tady je. Tak jsme tady dolů. Jo, teď, když jsem teď potvrdil, tak teď to bude hezky rychle. Teď to byl úplně jeden z nejzákladnějších puzzlů v tady té hře.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
Tak já už můžu jít dolů. Bez obav. Kdyby mě nějaký kozel tady provokoval. Převrhneme sošku.
The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand.
Tak ji zvedneme.
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
Stejný vzorek, jako je tadyhle, což jo?
I placed my fingers and thumb into the holes in the wall. Nothing happened.
Tak mám sádru. Pokud se nepletu, tak je to sádra, že jo?
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints.
Takhle.
I sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled.
Uhňáci pořádně, tak.
I smoothed the plaster level with the sand. It was my first experience of home improvement.
Já to dělám pořádně hadr. Pokud.
I squeezed the towel as hard as I could, but it was barely damp.
OK, tak to zkusíme jinak. Musíme jít teda znova pro tu vodu. Což teď už nebude zase tak dlouho trvat, teď už to tam proklikám rychle. Mám de facto animaci pospátku danou, mám takový dojem. Tudy se jde dolů, že jo? Jo, dobré. No, zkusme tudy. Že dolů bych to bylo asi hodně nebezpečný skočit. No tady ten. Tady tenhle ten chlápek.
Hello. Hello there. Let me introduce you to my pals.
We've already met.
Tak někdo to dal v tom členovi.
I want you to know you have my sympathy.
Oh, it's just terrible, awful.
It's the worst news I heard all day.
Let's top the bad news all right for this week and the next.
The whole year.
It's worse than that. It's the worst disaster in living memory.
Isn't it the biggest calamity in the history of the village?
I would say it's the biggest in the history of Ireland.
The most awesome disaster since mankind paddled out of the primal plop.
There's no beer.
No.
Is a glass of beer more important than a man's life?
Were you talking to me?
To all of you. Sean Fitzgerald has met with God knows what, and all you can do is drink.
Sean has gone for a ride in a flash car, that's all. Why don't you calm down and join us?
No, tady to asi nemá cenu, nebo zkusím.
What about Sean? Why aren't you out looking for him?
There's no point in launching an ill-equipped expedition to save the lad. In a life or death situation, preparation is essential. That's why I slipped in here.
For a pint.
I gotta go.
Jdeme dolů. Pořádně namočíme hadr.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Jdeme nahoru. Jdeme zase zpátky teda zase na ten hrad. Já už natáčím 6 minut. Tady tu část. Možná to bylo 4 části tady to video, no, tak... Uvidím, no, nějak nebylo by nahrávání a Fraps mě tady to nebere, takže hod mě nezbývá, než to brát vlastně přes tady ten programek. Ale Bonito Steel Sky zkusím pak přes zkusím pak přes Fraps, že by to bylo možná lepší vzít Frapsem. Vyhrát si tam vlastně s Frapsem možná by to bylo i jednodušší. Tak, jo. Jdeme ten ročník a polejem to pořádně.
The trickle of water was quickly absorbed by the plaster.
A co teď?
I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
To vlastně šoupneme sem hlad. Something.
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Půjdeme dolů. Pora co hlednout. Mon Fasco. Zpět v Bijáňku.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pegram has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pegram's gem?
The Templars gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
No. To si necháme samozřejmě na příště
Can't
už.
sit here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobinor at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if Rosso has heard anything?
Okay. Anything else I can do for you while I'm out? Shopping, a trip to the laundromat?
Just take care of yourself.
Zkusím to ještě ukázat ten... Nebo na nic tady nebudu ukazovat tady že by se s ní dalo taky pohovořit. Ale nebudu jí to ukazovat ten drahokam. Teď si zamíříme ještě za Poste de Police. Je tady Rosso. Promluvím ještě s tady tím úředníkem.
Excuse me?
Ah, Monsieur Stobart, n'est-ce pas?
That's correct. You remember me.
The retention of such data is part of my duty as a gendarme. That is how crime is fought, through attention to detail, not intuition.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a weasel. Their names are Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
This time?
What are you going to do about Flap and Guido, Sergeant?
I'm going to bust them, monsieur. For years I have been hoping to pin something on that pair. Now's my chance. I'll show them, and the inspector.
Thanks, Sergeant. Thanks for taking me seriously.
I'm only doing my duty, monsieur.
Mluvím s Rossem?
Is Rosso here?
Yes, he is. You wish to speak to him?
Jasně.
Yes, I do.
One moment, monsieur. Stobart is here to see you, monsieur.
Did he say what it was about?
No, monsieur.
Very well.
Proto teď sleduju ten ještě časovač, jako jestli mi to prostě vydrží vůbec nahrávání.
Hi, Inspector. Remember me?
But of course, Mr. Stobart. My mind is a well-ordered faculty. A mental classification system that's the envy of the Bibliothèque Nationale. No tricks, mark you, monsieur. Just exercise. Just as our muscles waste through inactivity, so our minds decay. But there is no need. If only people would learn to exercise their wits daily.
If he was trying to impress me, it worked. He was pompous and patronizing, but he had style.
Eh bien, if you called about the bombing, you're too late. Investigations have been closed.
But
I've been taken off the case.
what about the murderer, the dead guy?
It is out of my hands.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter? You call me from my desk and you say it doesn't matter? I could have you arrested for wasting police time.
I'm sorry.
Zaměříme to ještě za oběhem. Do Krun. Chun. Musí Chun. A já tady ještě jednou pro jistotu končím. Ale ne, ukončím úplně, jenom tady trošku pozastavíme. Doufám, že se vám video zatím líbí. Já prostě vždycky, když to chytím, tak vždycky to ukonču. A neukonču to teď. Prozniču jsem se zpátky. Jak jsem slíbil, tak ji říkám, hned jsem zpátky, takže jdeme na to. Lobino.
I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay, shoot.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Aha, to jsem nevěděl třeba.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
The second week of July?
Maybe. Yes, it was, just before Bastille Day.
So Pegram was in Paris at the same time as the other victims.
Pardon? Victims of what?
Nothing. Just thinking aloud. I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
Okay, tak jsem budu muset říct toto.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
To je to paradox.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Nicole.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Maybe it was my imagination, but I noticed a predatory look in his eye. Suddenly, this friendly historian had turned into the big bad wolf. This friend, who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I
Tak
can.
jo.
Thanks for...
Jsem přeskočil na to snědové rozloučeníčko. A já už to uložím, protože už tam mám hodně tady natočenýho materiálu. Doufám, že se vám video líbilo, pokud ano, zachte like, komentář a adios!
Videa, kam pak bys odcházel? Můžeš se podívat tady na videa, který pro tebe YouTube vyhodnotí jako nejlepší, nebo tadyhle na seznam videí z tady toho playlistu celkovýho. Až potom můžeš odejít. Bye bye.